"Don't come to the holiday party," my mom murmured, her eyes skittering away like even she couldn't bear the weight of what she was saying. "We'll just pretend you don't exist," my sister chimed in, lips curled in a smirk, her arm clinging to her boyfriend's like cruelty was a performance she'd perfected. The kitchen went still. The fridge hummed louder than my heartbeat. I didn't fight back. I didn't beg. I didn't remind them that for the last 10 years every holiday meal, every decorated table, every spotless room existed because of me. Because I cooked, I cleaned, I swallowed every insult like poison disguised as love. I just stood there mute, carved out of stone. Hi everyone. My name is Elena. I'm 27. And if you think this is one of those stories where I collapse into tears, you're wrong. Because what do you do when the people who raised you erase you like chalk off a board? What grows in the hollow silence where love should have lived? That night, I lay awake, my eyes fixed on the ceiling, tracing every crack like it might spell out a map toward freedom. My sister's laugh replayed, jagged as glass. My mom's soft words lingered, fatal in their finality. They thought I would vanish quietly, but here's the thing. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Quiet doesn't mean powerless, as so I didn't show up to the holiday party. I didn't text. I didn't call. That I did something else. Something that crept into their perfect party like a shadow slipping beneath the door. When my sister's boyfriend pulled out his phone, beer in hand, laughter echoing around him, the grin on his face froze. His thumb stilled. His eyes widened. On his screen, my picture. Me under city lights. My arm around someone he knew. Someone he knew far too well. His beer slipped, foam spilling across the carpet. The chatter dulled. The laughter faltered. By midnight he was gone. By morning so was she. The phone call started 5 days later. "Elena, what did you do?" My mom's voice cracked, raw with panic. In the background, my sister's scream tore through the receiver. High-pitched, desperate, like glass shattering, I pressed the phone to my ear and said nothing. I let the silence stretch, heavy and sharp, until it cut. The same silence they once handed me like punishment. And for the first time I smiled. Because now the silence wasn't mine to carry. Their voices tangled through the line, frantic, pleading. "You ruined my life," my sister shrieked. "Do you even realize what you've done?" I leaned back in my chair, calm, letting the storm of their unraveling crash over me. For years I had been their scapegoat, their target, their punching bag. And now? Now they were choking on their own cruelty. My voice was soft but steady. "You said you'd pretend you don't know me. So stay consistent." Click. I hung up. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It pulsed with power. For once, I wasn't clawing for scraps at their table. I wasn't begging for space in their picture-perfect family. I had stepped out of their shadow. And in doing so, I had cast one over them. 5 days had rewritten everything. Her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend now, didn't argue, didn't shout. He simply left. Cold, quiet, final. And everyone at that holiday party saw it happen. They saw her crumble in the very room where she had mocked me with my own mother. That image? That was worth more than any revenge I could have planned. But the calls didn't stop. 3 voicemails from Mom. Each one more desperate than the last. 2 texts from my aunt accusing me of going too far. A blocked number I knew belonged to my sister. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I stood at my window, watching the city move beneath me. Cars streaked like veins of light, strangers weaving through the streets with lives I'd never know. And for the first time I felt free. For the first time I wondered, was this freedom? The ache in my chest said no. Not yet. Because revenge isn't just about making someone hurt. It's about balance. About restoring the weight they stole from you. And as much as my sister sobbed and my mom begged, I knew they hadn't tasted the full measure. I whispered into the dark. They wanted me invisible. Let's see how it feels when I'm unforgettable. That was the night my next move began. The next morning, sunlight sliced through my blinds, golden and sharp. My phone buzzed again, 3 missed calls, 2 voicemails, 1 long text from Mom. "Elena, please, you owe us an explanation." That word hit like a splinter. Oh, for years I had owed them everything. My time, my silence, my obedience. They cashed in on my kindness as if it was their birthright. But explanations? No, they didn't deserve those. Instead, I opened my laptop. A folder sat waiting on my desktop. One I had built quietly over the years without even knowing why. Screenshots of texts where my sister mocked me. Emails where mom compared me to her golden child. Photos from gatherings where I was always behind the camera, never in the frame. A digital archive of invisibility. I dragged it into a new folder. I named it one word, proof. But this wasn't about blasting it online. Not yet. That would be too easy. Too clean. No, I wanted something slower. Something they couldn't outrun. A story they'd be forced to live inside. I started small. Updated my social profiles. Changed my pictures. Me smiling radiant. With friends they didn't know I had. Me in places they had never been invited. Me glowing in ways they never allowed me to be. And then one post. Subtle. A photo. Me and someone very familiar. My sister's ex. Caption. Unexpected company. Better conversations. No tags. I didn't need them. Within an hour my aunt texted. What are you doing, Elena? By evening a cousin messaged. Girl, your sister is losing it. I didn't respond. I closed my laptop. Leaned back. Let the tension coil tighter, because this was just the opening act. If they wanted me erased, I would write myself into their story so boldly that every word would choke them. Tomorrow the real unraveling would begin. But it started sooner. By noon the next day, my phone buzzed like a hornet's nest. Screenshots. Group chats. Family threads that rarely mention me now lit up with my name. My sister's rage had gone public. Long furious posts. About betrayal, about fake people who smile in your face while stealing behind your back. She never wrote my name, but everyone knew. And the irony? For the first time in years, they were all talking about me. I sat in a cafe by the window, coffee warm in my hand, while her world collapsed. Then came the call that I didn't expect. Him, her ex. His voice was calm. Too calm. Elena, he said. I didn't mean for things to blow up like this. But I'll be honest. Your sister's mask slipped the night of that party. I saw her cruelty. I should have seen it sooner. It wasn't his words that shook me. It was the relief in his voice. Like leaving her wasn't a loss, it was a blessing. And for the first time I realized, maybe I wasn't broken after all. Maybe they were. But I didn't soften. Not yet. That evening I opened the folder again, selected a few choice pieces. A message from mom. You should learn to be more like your sister. Another where my sister bragged about using me for money whenever she needed a quick fix. I didn't post them. Not yet. I printed them. Because paper has weight. Paper can't be deleted. The holiday party had made me invisible. Now, piece by piece, I was making myself undeniable. When I slid those printed pages into an envelope, sealing it with steady fingers, I felt the shift. The next chapter wasn't about proving myself. It was about holding up a mirror, so they'd finally see themselves, and once they looked, there'd be no unseeing. I mailed the envelope on a gray Thursday morning. No note, no return address. Just their names, written in my clear, deliberate handwriting. Inside each page carried a truth they had buried. Every word a reflection of what they had done to me. By Saturday, the silence shattered. My aunt called first. Her voice low, urgent. Elena, what did you send them? Your mom's been crying for hours. Your sister, she's furious. She says you're trying to ruin her. I almost laughed. Ruin her? I hadn't written a single lie. I hadn't added a single word. All I did was hand them their own sentences pressed in ink. This was never about creating a story. It was about reminding them that I was never blind to theirs. That night, I pictured their faces as they opened the envelope. Mom, reading her own words, comparing me to my sister like I was some half-formed shadow. My sister, staring at the text where she admitted I was her safety net whenever she ran out of money. The beauty of truth is that it doesn't need to be screamed at. It just sits there. Heavy, undeniable. By Sunday, another call came. This time from my cousin. His voice carried something new. Respect. You know, Elena, people always thought you were the quiet one. But I think you're the strongest. You didn't even need to yell. You just showed them. I hung up and stared at my reflection in the dark window. For the first time, I didn't see the forgotten daughter. I didn't see the overlooked sister. I saw someone unshakable. But the storm wasn't finished, because revenge isn't just about confronting the guilty. It's about forcing them to sit in the echo of their own words. And I knew, My sister wouldn't stay silent, she would strike back. And when she did, I'd be ready to let the world see her for who she really was. It didn't take long to be Monday morning. My phone lit up with notifications that my sister had gone nuclear on social media. Long venomous posts, dripping with half-truths and outright lies. She painted herself as the victim, the betrayed sister, while describing me as jealous, manipulative, unstable. Comments poured in. Some believed her, but others, curious, started asking questions. Screenshots began circulating. One she didn't realize I already had. I sat at my desk, scrolling through the chaos, and for a brief second, I almost felt pity. She was drowning, thrashing in the shallow water of her own lies, and the more she fought, the more she revealed. Then came the message that shifted everything from her ex. Just one line. "If you need me to back you up, I will." I stared at it. My fingers hovered over the keys, but I didn't reply. I didn't need to. His silence online was louder than all of her screaming posts. Everyone saw it. Everyone understood it. If he wasn't defending her, then maybe there was nothing to defend. Evening, a cousin posted publicly. Funny how receipts always surface. Careful what you pretend didn't happen. And just like that, the tide turned. My inbox filled with quiet apologies, relatives confessing they never knew how bad it had been. But I didn't answer them either. Instead, I walked to the mirror, studied my face in the dim light. For years, I had swallowed insults until they etched themselves into me. Now, I watched as they fell away, one layer at a time. My sister thought her rage would bury me. Instead, it exposed her. And yet, I wasn't done. Because justice isn't about watching someone spiral. It's about making sure they can never twist the story back again. And the proof I hadn't used, the pieces still untouched, they were waiting. And when I released them, she would finally know what it felt like to be erased. Only this time, silence wouldn't protect her. The folder of untouched proof sat on my desk like a loaded weapon. I had held it back for months, maybe years, waiting for the perfect moment. And my sister's rage? She had delivered that moment to me on a silver platter. I chose 3 pieces. That was all it would take. The first, her own voice recorded in a voice note, laughing as she bragged to a friend about how easy it was to guilt Elena into paying for things. The second, a screenshot of a bank transfer. She had begged for emergency money that day, while at the same time posting vacation selfies like she was living in paradise. And the third, the cruelest of them all, a private message to mom, mocking me for still being single at almost 30, calling me a burden she wished would just disappear. I uploaded them with precision. No captions. No comentarios. Timed like deliberate, steady blows. Within minutes, the ripple began. Comments shifted. The same people who had defended her earlier fell silent. A few even erased their posts completely. Relatives started messaging me in private. "We had no idea. We're sorry." By nightfall, my sister's account went dark. She deleted everything. Her flawless image had shattered wide open, and there was no glue left to patch it back together. Mom tried to call again, her voice pleading, trembling. "Elena, this has gone far enough. She's your sister. Please stop." But I didn't feel like stopping. Not from vengeance, from clarity. They needed to understand. Every cruel word, every mocking smile, every dismissal had led us exactly here. This wasn't destruction. This was revelation. I ignored her call and posted one final line, plain, sharp, unforgettable. "You told me to be invisible. But now you'll never forget me." Then I closed my laptop. The city outside hummed, indifferent. Tomorrow, the silence would belong to me. The next morning, the storm was gone. 2 gone. No calls. No posts. No frantic messages lighting up my phone. For the first time in weeks, the digital world was still. I sat by the window, coffee warm in my hands, waiting for the weight to return. But it didn't. Instead, something lighter drifted in like clean air after rain. By noon, an email appeared from my aunt. Short. Clipped. "Your sister's moving out. She says she can't face anyone here. Your mom is devastated. She wants to talk, but maybe give it time." I read it twice. Moving out. The golden child who once paraded her perfection at every gathering was now hiding from the same family that had crowned her, and my mother, the one who had whispered for me not to come, was left clutching the silence she had gifted me. First that evening, I passed the old family house. Through glowing windows I saw the dining table half set, chairs unevenly pushed back for years. I had stood in that kitchen filling plates, filling. Silence. Now the chairs sat empty. The laughter gone. A wave of memory threatened to pull me in. But I didn't knock, I didn't step inside, I just stood there. Letting the truth settle, I didn't need their table anymore. My phone buzzed once, a text from Mom. 6 words only. I see you now. I'm sorry that I didn't reply. Forgiveness wasn't mine to hand out like candy at a holiday party. Forgiveness, if it ever came, would take time. But justice? Justice was already here. Because revenge isn't fire and fury, it's the quiet shift of power, it's watching the people who erased you finally face the outline you left behind, it's knowing that, for once, they can't rewrite the story that I turned from the house. The night air cool against my skin. My reflection followed me in the dark glass of parked cars. Steady, certain, unshaken. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the forgotten one, that I was unforgettable. And that was enough.